All right. Jesus Christ. Oh, we're good. Okay. Yeah, do you got a pun?
Yeah.
Let's just let it ride. Let's just see what happens. Let's let the
All right. Are you
spirit guide.
recording?
Yeah, I'm recorded this whole time.
All
This is
right.
great because that means I
Um.
can start out the episode with just like you clicking the loud ass air horn noise and then immediately cut to the theme song.
All right. We are two instigators on a shipping freighter,
Oh wait,
and
shit, that was good.
yeah, that one I came up with that one like
That's been
pre-episode.
in the
I was
chamber.
ready. Yeah, that one was I had ready. Um,
We're just like
and
that
yeah, we're the two dope boys on a Discord call
on a
right now
podcast. Yeah.
on a podcast. And we've got two albums we like to review. We usually do a random genre and
Mm-hmm.
then a new release from
Yeah.
Rate Your Music, and we listen to them and we talk about what we like, what we don't like,
Yeah.
um, and we give our really professional and um, in-depth thoughts
Oh
on the
yeah. We
album.
give our full. We take serious notes on it. We listen to. We're a lot like Fantano in that way, where we listen to the
Yeah, but
album multiple
even more
times.
like
Even more
we're
intense
even
though.
yeah, and
Yeah.
more well spoken. Yeah,
More well spoken, more intense, and we're even cooler.
yeah,
Because I think one of the things, a lot of the things, one thing I know about Fantano is that people think he's really cool. I
yeah,
think and that his fan base is really cool, and
yeah,
that they cultivate their music interests in the correct and right way,
yeah,
and
and they
definitely not in a weird
provide
obsessive culty way.
yeah, and they provide good music discourse.
Yeah, and especially when he live streams, it's full of a lot of cool, thoughtful,
Hmm.
joyful people, and not just people
Yes.
who go L music. Have you ever watched one of his like music streams?
Oh yeah,
It's so fucking depressing, dude.
it's
It's
so
like
bad.
it's I every time like sometimes I'll like get recommended on YouTube like Fantano reacts to I Am Dog Now by Chat Pile, and like
Hmm.
I'll click on it just like because I'm a dumb little cretin, and then I'll see it and then it'll be just like the opening riff to like the sickest shit you've ever heard plays, and then it'll just be everybody be like L L like and dumb stupid fucking
Yeah,
bad.
there's always like one normal guy in the chat, and then the rest of it is just like people just being like either like, "Hey, check out this like song
Yeah.
that's just completely different," or just like
Yeah,
mid like
mid. Oh my God, there's nothing more annoying than saying mid in a chat. Like, I
yeah,
think there might be, I think my least favorite word in the English language is mid, even though it's not, whatever. Mid is so upsetting to me. I
oh
feel like
yeah,
no one has
mid
ever used the word mid in a like coherent and fun way,
or in the correct way.
or in the correct way. Yeah, mid
Mid
is
just
either.
means bad now.
Yeah, and I feel like mid is reserved for like a certain kind of engaging with music or sports in the least exciting way possible.
Yeah.
Because it's either reserved for like Jalen Hurts or Black Country New Road, and that kind of you can't find that overlap anywhere else.
Speaking of sports, did you see the Halliburton uh
Yeah, that shit was
game
that's
time
so
shot?
funny.
They
That
did the like I understand why the Bucks lost the Pacers now. They're
they've
doing
got the
dark magic
swag.
over.
Yeah,
They
they've got
the
God on their
Colts the
side.
Colts owner just died.
I saw that too.
All I'm saying is that they're doing I'm
Yeah,
I'm with the people, all right? The people are saying that there's some black magic going on.
the people are saying
And
Tyrese Halliburton took Jim Irsay down into a dark chamber and
yeah.
did like the Temple of Doom sacrifice on him and
Mhm.
pulled out his heart.
Yeah. And
I'm
now
just
the ball's magnetized to the hoop.
Yes. I'm just happy to see the Knicks sad. I want to see the Knicks lose this
Yeah.
series so bad.
I want the Knicks to win just because I like Tyler Kolek because he played for
Yeah.
Marquette.
Yeah. And I
And
like a lot of the Knicks players, but just Knicks fans suck, dude.
oh
They're
yeah,
s-
the Knicks. I like the Knicks team. I hate the Knicks fans.
yeah. And just
Except
as
for
a
Timothy Chalamet, he's cool.
oh yeah, and for Jesus and Mero, they're cool. But like
Spike Lee's cool too. But he is also like a crazed Knicks fan. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
And the other thing, I also like Spike Lee. See, I like the Knicks so much in abstract, and I
I know.
like, but then like I think about the fact that I'm a Hawks fan, and then I'm like contracted to hate them by my blood rivalry, and
Yeah,
it's
that's
a
like
sad life we live where we don't connect with each other anymore. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
it's like like I'm supposed to not like Tyrese Halliburton
Yeah, but
because
he's
like
so
Bucks
cool.
fan. But like then he like does like the Reggie Miller choke celebration
Yeah, after the
and
ugliest jump shot you've ever
yeah,
seen.
that does like the is this the dagger bounce? Like
Dude,
yeah,
and after like the ugliest bounce, the ugliest step back, the ugliest form, and it still goes in. It's so
mhm.
funny.
He didn't even shoot a three. His
I know
foot was on
his
the
foot was
line.
yeah. God, what a day. What an exciting day to be a Knicks hater.
Yeah.
And especially like in the garden too. That's so funny. That's
Hold up.
well,
Oh,
you
we're
want to talk
back.
about some albums?
Yes. Sorry,
Yeah.
my like uh Mac just randomly connected to my AirPods for no reason.
Oh yeah, your audio is definitely doing some fun stuff right now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you. It just maybe it's just quiet overall.
Oh, I'm just not close to the mic.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Yeah. But
There we
yeah,
go.
do you want to start with Jane Rover or you want to start with Janet Jackson? Not to
Start with
spoil the.
Janet Jackson.
Start with Janet Jackson. All
Yeah.
right, I'll introduce this one because this was my random pick, right?
Yeah, I forget what genre it was, so.
It was Minneapolis sound. I think the overarching genre is soul, and the random genre I selected was Minneapolis sound, which is a
Mhm.
subset of soul music that's specifically located to soul music recorded in the late 70s and early 80s in Minneapolis, characterized by Prince mainly. And the album I picked out of it was Janet Jackson's 1986 record Control, which was her
Yeah.
breakout album and has a lot of interesting lore to it. And I'm going to do my best to recall it off the top of my head. And I'll probably be tabbing over to the Wikipedia page because we didn't prepare for this episode as well as we should have. But Janet Jackson in 1986, I believe she was really young, like 19, early 20s, and she'd already released two records. I forget their names, but the two records were released by her father, who controlled the Jackson estate and controlled her music career. And um, in an act of rebellion, she fired her dad as her agent and went to Minneapolis to record this record. She had already also just divorced her recently married husband, and she went and recorded with the people that made Prince's stuff, and I forget their names, so I'm going to tab over. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, songwriting and musician duo, and yeah, they made this record Control, which is a banger. It's a great record, and it's also a classic. It's one of the best albums of all time, at least in like terms of like importance and cultural importance. And it's got some of the biggest hits of the 80s on it, and it's Janet Jackson's breakthrough record. And it's the record that made her a star. And yeah, it's the record we're going to be given at least a little bit of our personal thoughts from our kind of little listen through to it. So, Aiden, what do you think of Janet Jackson's Control?
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like actually this is the first Janet Jackson album I think I've listened to, just
Yeah,
like in
same.
entirety. Um, and it's really fun. I was like I don't know if I don't want to say disappointed by it because like I knew
Mm-hmm.
the sound that was gonna
Yeah.
like it was gonna be but like I kind of expected more and I think that's just because the name is attached to it
Mm-hmm.
um with but I think that the like it's a very like sign of the times album
Yeah.
in that regard where it's like it's very like late 70s early 80s. It's got that disco influence for sure. It's
Mm-hmm.
got like that like kind of you can hear where Michael Jackson kind of took some of his sound from. So I think as like a precursor album to all of that, it's really important.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and uh, I think it's like it's definitely a banger. There's some great cuts on it.
Yeah.
A couple of my favorite being actually the final cut,
Really?
which yeah,
Okay, that's
um, which,
fascinating.
which was "Funny How Time Flies," which reminded me almost of like a Sade song in a
Yeah,
way.
that was the one where she just moaned in French a whole lot, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And maybe just because it's like it was weirder is
Yeah.
kind of why I liked it because A lot of the other songs play with a similar sonic palette,
Mm-hmm.
um, which isn't a bad thing. It keeps the record really tight and cohesive,
Yeah.
and it's only at like 41 minutes, so
Mm-hmm.
it's like perfect. It's like not doing too much at all. It's doing
Yeah.
just enough. The other one that I really liked is "What Have You Done for Me Lately." That was
That
my
one
other
rocked.
favorite.
That song rocked.
That one,
Yeah.
it was just really fun. I'm kind of between the two. I think I would listen to "Funny How Time Flies" again, just because it like really caught my ear in an interesting way, and I thought it
Yeah.
was a great outro to the album.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is a record. This is a tight record. It's a record full of hits. Like these are songs. Like most every song on this one was meant to be played on the radio, was
Yeah,
meant to be hit, and most of them were hits. Like you've got the title track, "Control." You've got "Nasty," which was
nasty.
apparently a big club hit in the '80s, which is kind of crazy to me because that song kind of gets weird with it, like
Yeah.
lyrically. "What Have You Done for Me Lately" is another hit. "You Can Be Mine," "The Pleasure Principle," "When I Think of You," "He Doesn't Know I'm Alive," all six of those in a 9 track
Hmm.
record, 6 or 7 of those, all of those were big hits. And I mean, that's part
Hmm.
of like, I think I kind of agree with you that I was a little bit disappointed by this record. Not because I thought it was bad at all, I thought it was a very good record. But I mean, this is the kind of record you look on Wikipedia, you look at the history of it, this is like top 100 best albums of all time. This is one of
Hmm.
the most lauded records. And it didn't quite do all that for me, even though I was like, damn, this record's banging. Like this record's
Yeah.
got some hits to it. But it
Hmm.
is definitely of the times, which I think is cool. I think it's fun to listen to something that has such a distinct sound, like
Hmm.
sounds of its era so much so. But it is not a perfect record by any means. I
No,
wouldn't
and I
call it
think.
one of the top 100 albums of all time.
Mhm.
As silly of a categorization as that is, it's just it's not that great of a record all the way through, even though it's a good record with a lot of bangers.
And I
But it
think
is,
the
I mean, I think it's incredibly important to the history
yeah,
of pop
for
music.
sure.
Yeah.
I think some of like the longevity of this record versus some of the other records in similar genres that are coming
Hmm.
out around the same time. I look at like stuff like, and I know there's gonna be people that are like Stevie Wonder's '80s stuff isn't that good, but like
Hmm.
you still hear Stevie Wonder's '80s stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
You've known about it, and I think some like that goes to show that there's people doing in the similar lane that were doing maybe stuff that just had a little bit more aging
Yeah,
power to it.
I am curious about that because how much exposure did you have to this, like any of the songs on this record beforehand?
I think I've heard Nasty.
Yeah, I
I
hadn't
think
heard
I've
any of
heard,
these songs, and I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's not a like these songs don't have staying power. I'm pretty sure that's my own
yeah.
ignorance. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure if like
I don't know.
you're of the age where this came out, because like I told my parents I was listening to this record, and they both like immediately started singing
Okay.
like both of the like a lot of these songs, and like
Yeah.
they don't even like they're not even Janet Jackson fans like that. So like
Then that's
especially of its
definitely just.
time, and I think if you're in that age, this was one of those records that like oh this
Mhm.
was everywhere.
Yeah. I guess it just hasn't caught on to like a younger audience yet.
Yeah, which is
Um.
interesting because like I'd say like there's some Janet Jackson stuff that's like popular with our generation, but not in the same way
Yeah.
that like I don't know. I don't know enough about our generation to speak on that. I don't know what anybody's doing.
But
Um
yeah, I uh I was just very fascinated by this record. Also,
yeah.
like I'm gonna be. This is a nitpicky thing.
Hmm.
Uh, and but the mix isn't very good
Really?
on a lot of these tracks.
Yeah,
Like
give us your expert
some
audiophile
of them,
opinion
some of
here.
them are fine, but there was one specific one. I think it's "You Can Be Mine," where
Hmm.
like there was like no low end.
Really?
Like
I
a
wrote
lot of
the
these.
only thing I wrote I took notes on this album, and the only thing I wrote for You Can Be Mine was Chief Keef horns. And I don't really
Yeah,
remember why I wrote that.
well,
I
it's
just remember
very
the
like
synth.
a lot of the songs are like have like a very dry mix to them.
Yeah.
Uh,
The snare's
and
real snappy on this album. Like I remember that, but there's not the bass is I think it's because it's that real like clunky keyboard
mhm,
synth bass that just does not have a lot of it's real fat and it's real percussive, but it doesn't have that like big low end that you would get from later stuff like in the 90s
yeah.
like with R&B.
Yeah. So I was like looking for that the whole time.
Hmm.
And it didn't really take away from the album. It was just
Hmm.
like a nitpicky thing I noticed.
Yeah.
But I was like the bass lines are so groovy and great, and but sometimes you just like can't hear them.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the ways like for this album, like this album was made almost entirely like digitally in a way that albums
Hmm.
really weren't made in the 80s back then, or
Yeah.
at least like pop albums weren't made. And it was kind of, I think that's one of the things where it's a little bit ahead of its time, where like the
Hmm.
technology, at least for them, wasn't quite there to get that poppy sound that they wanted.
I just don't think they knew how to mix it like
Yeah,
and
that
work with
too.
it.
And that's the other thing. Like Janet Jackson was really young when she made this, and it was just these other two guys in the studio with her,
Hmm.
and she had a lot of creative control, and that manifests in some really cool ways in this record. Like especially
Hmm.
lyrically, like the lyrics on this record are awesome. They're so direct and confrontational, but there's also that kind of raw side to it where it's like you see a young artist like finding her voice, and
Yeah,
that's
I
really
don't want
cool.
that. I don't want anything with the mix to take away from the album because like
Yeah,
obviously these are all huge club hits. So it
right,
like it goes to show that you don't have to have a good mix to make a
right.
great song. Most of
It's
our favorite bands that
yeah,
like make like lo-fi and like
yeah,
a lot of Midwest emo bands have like like record with like a tin can of like
right,
beans from
exactly.
like the 50s and it
Yeah.
sounds great.
And I think like you can also just understand the mix like as like growing pains for an artist figuring out her
Hmm.
sound. And that's just part
Yeah.
of the narrative of her arc of her career.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say
All right.
my last kind of thought is I really didn't like the last two tracks. I thought like I thought it was
I
going
think I
banger
liked both
banger.
of them.
I really I really didn't like either of them. I thought it was like I kind of fucked with the eighth track, the Let's Wait a While one. I thought
I
it
like that
worked
one.
well like lyrically with it. I thought it was kind of I think I wrote down that like you have to be so in your bag to pull off an abstinence ballad in the middle of your
Hmm.
dance club banger, but it does kind of work contextually within the album of like she's taking control and
Hmm.
like she's taking control of this as well. I think it's cool. But I just think it like it's a weird slowdown for you have seven straight dancer bangers, and then you have like these weird slowdown where it just doesn't work for me as well.
Yeah. No, I think I kind of like the slowdown for me came around the honestly the pleasure principle is like a great track,
Hmm.
but around that time I was looking for something different for
Yeah.
the album to offer something different. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, kind of. I think it's a pitfall that a lot of like dance artists fall into.
Yeah.
It's it's hard to make like one genre of dance music sound interesting each time. It's definitely
Yeah.
a challenge.
I think
And
especially disco hits this wall because the
mhm,
disco formula is so there,
mhm.
and there's not a
Yeah,
lot of room to experiment with it.
and I think this is another thing with us just looking back at it, like from our lens, like when this came out, it was so new sounding, and I
Yeah.
understand how every single one of these songs could be like such a big hit because it's like
Yeah.
it is pushing the boundaries. Um, but like I've heard this sound so many times
Yeah.
that I was
Yeah.
like, I guess that's where my I guess disappointment, which I don't like saying that because
Right.
it feels like sacrilegious to say I'm disappointed in Janet Jackson's like
Yeah.
great album, but yeah, just hear like it's just a sound I've heard a lot, and I think
Yeah.
it's kind of been extinguished for me.
Yeah, I will say I thought the kind of middle section were the best hits. Like my favorite song in this one was "When I Think of You," and I was split
Mm,
between Pleasure Principle and "When I Think of You," just because I think the grooves were the best on those. And I
yeah.
think like "When I Think of You" especially is that chorus is stuck in my head all the time now.
Hmm.
Like I
Yeah.
think those are
That's a
just the most grooving tracks. And yeah,
yeah.
those are also the
I
more
think
straightforward disco-y ones. I'd say like Control and Nasty were both a little bit like more progressive in that they were leading almost more in a rap direction and they were a
mhm,
little bit more techno-y, whereas it kind of settles
yeah.
into a more very influenced by like Diana Ross, like and her like I'm Coming Out album. I forget if that's I think that's a self-titled record, but very influenced
Yeah.
by that sound.
It is one of those albums where you can like pull any song and be like, "This is my favorite track," and it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
makes
think
sense.
I remember reading on the Wikipedia page that Jimmy Jam and whatever his buddy was, Terry Lewis, said that they wanted to make a record that was for Black America and specifically for Black America to just kind of put on and for everybody to enjoy. And I think this is absolutely that kind of record where you can
Yeah,
see somebody putting on this CD or putting on this vinyl and just letting it ride and everybody just having a good time with this just
yeah,
setting the mood for 40 minutes. And I think it absolutely achieves that.
yeah. Hasn't like I know there's a lot of talk about like the loss of importance of like the album,
Hmm.
um, but having something like this, like showing like I think it does what an album's supposed to do.
Absolutely, yeah. And not just in a like very artsy fartsy way where it's like I'm telling this really linear narrative story or even like
Mhm.
concept album. This one just is like cohesive bangers.
Yep.
Yeah. All right,
Yep.
so what'd you give this one there, bud?
I gave it a 3.5,
Hell yeah.
the classic score, because
Mm-hmm.
I liked it.
Yeah,
And I wouldn't be mad if someone put it on.
absolutely not. I think if someone put this on at the function, I would give them like a very masculine head nod,
Yeah.
like a nice like you know what's up. Very, very
You know
masculine.
ball. It's a you know ball.
Yeah, I see you there, brother.
Yeah.
Like you're I'm picking up what you're putting down and you're grooving. Yeah. And my rating is in that same kind of vein. This is just an easy thumbs up for me.
Hmm.
And this one's a hard recommend, I'd say, just because this
Yeah.
one's such an
Hard
important
recommend.
piece of history. Like,
If you hadn't
even if
heard.
you don't end up fucking with this, you should know about this record.
Mhm.
Uh, it's got bangers on it, so you're gonna enjoy it. It's short, like it's cohesive, and you
Yeah.
should know about Janet Jackson if you don't.
It's such an easy listen.
It's great,
Like,
yeah, great
yeah.
time. All right,
All right.
next one's your baby. This
Oh yeah.
one's this one's all
Chain
three of us.
Remover.
It's
Chain
chain remover
Remover.
time.
Revengeseekerz. The third album, the junior album, I could say.
Why don't you
Um,
give us a rundown on what Miss Remover has been up to and what her deal is?
Chain Remover. So she is a trans artist, coming out of the SoundCloud hyperpop scene, in around from like 2020 when everyone was in lockdown. So all the internet musicians were were locked in their rooms making their silly little tunes. And um, Jane Remover is kind of like a prodigy when it comes to like uh, just hyperpop and production in general. Um, she like started with her EP Teen Week, which um, she released, I think, her like senior year of high school.
Hmm.
So it's very like, I mean, it's just about like teenage anxiety, and that was where I first heard Jane Remover. Um, she has gone and done a bunch of stuff like her side project, Venturing, which we listened to. I don't think we did a review of it, but
We were planning on it. I don't think we ever actually did it.
yeah,
We
um,
yeah, that was in our dark period.
yeah, and also spearheaded, under the alias Leroy,
Hmm.
um, the EDM subgenre now known as Dariacore, which for all the folks who don't know is like a genre of music. It's like a remix genre, so you take a lot of like kind of like pop hits, and mash them all up together and put it at like 180 BPM, so it's really fast. And then just like throw a bunch of break beats and like loud 808s and like police car sirens. And it's just like you just make like musical chaos, and it's pretty awesome. But since like since the first couple projects, I think there's like 3 or 4 Leroy projects. She hasn't really gone back to making Dariacore, but it definitely has like it is a subgenre now of like there's other artists doing that, which is cool. But since then, she's experimented with like some more shoegazy stuff, starting with her debut album Frailty, which was we listened to a while back,
Yeah,
um,
because I
which
think
kind
we
of
got
blends.
yeah. Sorry, before we got the podcast started, I think we got the subgenre hyperpop, and
Mhm.
Frailty was our pick back before
Yeah.
we were actually recording episodes.
Mhm. And that one blends like kind of sees her starting to move like into more guitar focused stuff, um, and blends like that pop, obviously like very like kind of Porter Robinson inspired pop with like some Midwest emo and shoegaze stuff, along with just like whatever else she was cooking up. And then after that, um, she dropped Census Designated, which is like even more shoegazy, um, and like lyrically is, I think, one of her strongest like projects. Um, and then now we're at Revengeseekerz, which is just a straight up dance bangers. electronic. Uh, I don't know. It's got everything.
Yeah, this is a bit of a hard record to categorize, because it's simultaneously so within Jane Remover's wheelhouse, and
Mhm,
also feels completely unlike anything she's ever done.
mhm.
It's this weird kind of medium, and I think most importantly, though, first and foremost, it just whips. It's great.
Yeah. Um, yeah. From front to back, it is just like electric.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I like have was anticipating this album for a while. I was spinning the singles a lot, which were
Mm-hmm.
JR, 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 and Dancing with Your Eyes Closed, which I'm sure we'll talk about because
Yeah.
both of those songs are incredible. But yeah, I want to hear your thoughts on the album. I think we've both probably listened to it a couple times now.
Yeah. I'm at about, I think, either two or three listen throughs, and I'm very excited to go back again. I listened to this album. I've been listening to the albums ever since the summer hit. I've been going on walks and just like taking notes as I can, and just kind of listening to them both back to back. And I already listened to the record once before, before I listened to it again for the podcast, and it still goes so hard. I was really struck, like listening to it a second time, how good the lyrics are, and I was really trying to find like a nice coherent theme. I feel like this is a record that kind of defies that. It's not going to give you a nice coherent theme because it's just so all over the place. There's all these different, like, she's always fluctuating between like this brash confidence and bragging, and sometimes like these deep insecurities on other songs. And these two things just live in the same world for Jane Remover, and
Hmm.
it's always this kind of struggle to balance them. And I don't know if she succeeds in balancing them over the course of this record. I don't know if she's trying to, but it's just getting all those feelings out, and like all
Hmm.
that stress and emotion, and yet still trying to keep up this really brash image. It's just really exciting to be along the ride for.
Hmm.
And more importantly than that, the instrumentals are so fucking banging. The instrumentals are
Yeah.
so good. And I've been spinning Psycho Boost just about nine nonstop, like ever since the album came out, because I think that one's my favorite. It's hard to say. I really feel
Yeah.
like my favorite could
I don't
change
know
every
what
time I
I'm gonna
listen to
say
it.
as my favorite. I
Yeah.
think right now the one I've been listening to the most is Star People,
That one's so good.
which
Yeah.
is like a weird like obviously like she was just listening to a lot of like the new like jerk beats and like
Yeah.
the kind of that kind of genre and was like let me make this, but then let me put like a weird like electric guitar indie rock outro in it.
Yeah.
Um, but that one's just fun. I think that one, Angels and Camo.
Yeah, that one's sick.
Maybe tomorrow my new favorite might be Dancing with Your Eyes Closed. They're all
Yeah.
up there.
Angels and Camo had one of my favorite bars in the whole thing, which was the "Dear God, place a curse on those who wronged me," and Jesus had it with a freak bitch. I can't let you bitches win. It's so good. There's so many good Jesus bars on this thing. Like,
Hmm.
where's the other one? I tried to write down a couple good bars. Uh, yeah. Um, it was like Mary on the cross and like Jesus on the dance floor or
Oh,
something like
Mary
that.
on the Cross with Your Friend. Yeah.
Yeah, and it rules. Jane's so cool. This shit
Yeah.
rocks.
It's just like, yeah, it's so much fun. You
Yeah.
can, it's, I think we've definitely said this about like albums in the past, but it's one you can like really just enjoy or really like read into and
Hmm.
hear all, a bunch of intricacies.
Yeah, and
Um,
it's weird how enjoyable it is passively because the beats are so insane. Like it's
yeah.
we it's such a testament to how great of a producer Jane Remover already. It's insane that she's only 21 because these beats are so like mature and weird and freaky and
Hmm.
just all over the place, and yet it's still so cohesive, and she has such a great sense for melody and hooks and what in the midst of all this absolute chaos that she's able to make. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Like JR is like has a sample of just like a text to speech just saying Jane and like the whole time
Yeah.
that's just like stuttering the whole beat and it like is fun to listen to.
Yeah. And like that JR is like beside all that all has all these great lyrics about like her not feeling comfortable with like her name or the new name she's
Hmm.
picked and all that stuff. And I mean, of course, that deals with like transness and all that stuff. But there's also this great stuff about her just dealing with stardom in general and not
Hmm.
like that kind of alienation of like going from city to city and having thousands of people screaming your songs back at you. And just what a
Hmm.
weird sensation that is. And I think this record just captures that dissonance and that kind of strange bounce back and forth, like erratic nature of touring and
Yeah.
stardom in general. And it feels like her just pouring all that stuff out onto the canvas.
Hmm.
I just
Yeah.
I just love this record. This record is fantastic.
Yeah. Like full disclosure, right now this is to all the fans out there of the two dope boys, all our adoring fans. This is my favorite album of the year so far.
I think
Uh,
I'm in the same camp. Like this thing
uh,
fucking whips.
it I'll just give it. I'll just score it. It's a 5.
Yeah, this one's a
It's
best for
it's a
me. This
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna
It.
keep talking about it, but this one, like,
Yeah.
cards on the table. Like, we've
Yeah.
never we've never claimed to be a non-biased podcast. I think that's no fun. Like, oh, we're the objective voice of truth here. Fuck that. You're getting our opinions, and like that's just kind of always how it's been. It's always been subjective. Um, and like we came into this record biased because we love Jane Remover, and we're leaving it biased because this shit
Because we
whips.
still love
It
Jane
rocks.
Remover.
We still love Jane Remover, and we're right. So fuck you.
Yeah. I remember because we did the episode with Quinn, which
Hmm.
was 2 episodes back now, and I don't know if we talked about it in during the episode or after we shot it or before, but we talked to Quinn about Jane Remover for a while, and
Yeah, yeah.
like I don't know, it's just like if you're into that type of music, like and this scene, it's just
Hmm.
like this is the coolest thing that is happening right now.
Yeah, it's just exhilarating. And like this is one I feel lucky to know about because I like cards on the table. I wouldn't like you know this is for the audience, but like I wouldn't know about this shit without you. Like Aiden
Mhm.
completely got me into hyperpop, got me into and one of the things that got me into hyperpop in general was movies for guys off of Frailty.
Yeah.
Like that was the breakthrough song for me that like the first like the I think it took like 2 or 3 times to hear it, but there was one time where it just clicked. And then I was just
Mhm.
in love with Jade Remover, in love with this genre. And
Then he
like I
took a
wouldn't have
glass
found that
of
without
wine
Aiden. What?
and let the piece. Then he took a glass of wine and
Yeah.
let the pieces stab your eyes.
Then you took the remote and all
Then I'll
yeah.
get kicked out the house because you said this movie's just for
Just for
guys.
guys. Oh, what a song.
But yeah, I think I could keep talking about it and I
Yeah.
could listen to this all day.
Yeah.
I have been listening to it pretty much every day.
Yeah. I'm always listening
Um,
to I gotta say another one of my favorite bars on this one. I forget which song it is. Let me see. Oh, it's on Turn Up or Die where she says distort my spine or no, please God wait, no. Distort my spine now is just all she says, like right before a drop, and that shit's so sick.
we talked about this too, like shortly after the album came out. I want to talk about Psycho Boost too,
Yeah,
uh, and how she uh, keeps up with Danny Brown
yeah,
rapping.
yeah.
Like Danny Brown has his like second verse on the song, and
Hmm.
it's Danny Brown on like he's just been on like a kick of just doing like working with all these hyperpop artists,
Yeah, he was
and
just on a fantastic 8485 song called
yeah,
GIRL and does like
yeah,
the same, he does his Danny Brown thing. Yeah.
yeah, and he kind of just can't do he can do no wrong in that like when it
Yeah.
comes to those type of beats. But Jane like has a verse right after his and like kind of just like picks up where he left off and just keeps going with it,
Yeah.
and it's very like it's one of those times where like wow she's got this in her bag like.
And it's also not in a very typical Jane. It's like
Hmm.
not as like auto-tuned, and it's like real raspy and lower, and it like
Yeah,
kind of really matches the energy of the track. And it's really, and I heard her talk about it in an interview where she said that like she was losing her voice when she recorded that. You can kind of hear it, but it sounds sick. It sounds so
yeah,
great.
yeah, it's great.
That's
uh
also back to the great bars on this one. That's the one where the Psycho Boost is the one where she says, "Whose dick you suck now," which I just
yeah.
love that one. That one's so fun to scream. That one's just a great. It's a great one.
And actually today she dropped I think the new song that seems like kind of like a extra cut
Yeah.
from Revengeseekerz with Funeral, which I have some lore that I can talk
Oh.
about. Song's
Oh.
called Supernova, featuring fellow hyperpop artist I don't slash rapper slash whatever you want to call him, Funeral,
Mm.
who has been in that scene for a while now, and actually it's cool as like a longtime fan of Jane Remover to see them finally make a song together because they've always like been friends, and Jane Remover actually, and I hope there's like a loyal Jane fan that goes in the comments and is like, actually, it's on this song. I think the funeral samples on 52 Blue Mondays. She samples
Oh,
funeral on Teen Week, I think. It's either on Teen Week. I think it's on Frailty too. I think she samples um funeral on maybe on Movies for Guys. I could be
really?
wrong. She says it if you watch her live stream where she breaks down the project files for Frailty. Um, she goes through like how she produced everything. It's great. It's like 3 hours long, but it, if you're really interested to see the process, it's cool. But yeah, it's cool to see them finally like link up and do a song.
That's so sick. Yeah. No, definitely go check that one out. The new Jane track is really good, as all her
Hmm.
stuff is. And I think like just gonna like look forward into the future for her. Like the sky is just like I mean it's hard to even say what the limit is because she's so
Hmm.
young. All her stuff has been great. All her stuff has been inventive and new. She's always reinventing herself. And that seems
Yeah,
insane to say with how young she is. But like I mean it's just I'm just so excited to follow along as a fan. Like
yeah,
I'm just completely on board with whatever Jane Remover does next.
yeah,
This is such an exhilarating project, and it's we're so lucky to have an artist like Jane Remover.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Um, I think we should do our word.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, we're gonna do word of the day where we try and find a cohesive theme between these albums,
Hmm.
and I think this one's a pretty fun one. I think this is one of our. I
Yeah,
think honestly, this is my favorite double header we've had.
yeah. I'm gonna take my word. It's a couple of words. I'm
Hmm.
cheating the system. I'm gonna take it straight out of the Revengeseekerz track list, and I'm gonna say
Hmm.
"Turn Up or Die."
Yup. Yup.
Um, that they're just like it's such a surface level like connection to make, but I have to make it. Like it's
No,
just like you
it's
got to
essential. I
turn
think
up.
this is a really yeah. I think this is
You
a
got to turn
really
up to both
important one.
albums.
Yeah.
Mhm. In different ways. Turning up
Hmm.
in like I don't know, like Janet Jackson, you can like take your pants off in your room and start dancing around.
Yeah.
Um, and then like Jane Rover, you can like I think like turn up like
Take
I
your
don't know,
pants
jump
off
in the
and
mosh.
violently sob in your room while
Yeah,
punching
and then
shit.
like and yeah, and then like punch your friend in the mosh pit. Yeah.
Or you could do what's there's one of the lines where she in one of the songs where she's like, "I'm gonna take your shirt off as soon as the lights go out."
Hmm.
That's the Jane Remover vibe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, for my word of the day, I'm gonna try and go. I'm gonna try and reach for something that I'm probably just gonna stumble around a whole bunch. But I think both these records share such an interesting place in both artists' careers. They're both these artists are both like members of different marginalized communities. Both are women. Like Janet Jackson's a black woman, Jane Remover's trans, and both these women, this their third record. Um, both of them were very young when these records are made, and both of them are making such a decisive statement about their selfhood and about their
Hmm.
persons and their identity, and they're both incredibly declarative. I know that isn't a word of the day, but just that kind of joy of being able to participate as a fan with these women declaring their own selves and participating in that, I think is really, really important. And I think if someone smarter than me can draw more parallels between these two,
Yeah.
but I
They
think these
both got
are,
they both like like I think I don't know, not to give you a word, but like personality.
yeah, yeah,
They both showcase the artist's personality really well,
yeah. They're both
especially at the
like,
time they're recorded.
yeah, both these artists have so much character and they both shine so much in the music. And both these albums take such a defiant approach to that a character that
Hmm.
is really exciting to see in a world that like tells women so often to not be defiant and to be complacent. It's really
Yeah.
exciting to see that both these women at such young ages in completely different eras and completely different cultures just both completely say fuck that, I'm going to be myself and I'm going to put out my art as I see it. And I think that's just
Hmm.
I think these make such a great this one is probably of all our episodes the one I would recommend most as a double header. I think these two
Yeah.
pair really nice together.
Hmm. Yeah, you can like listen to Jane Rover and then cool off with the Janet Jackson.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like it'll be
Again,
like a nice come down. It's like not as it's not a harsh cutoff of like the turning up, but it's like
you're
you
still
get to
turning
chill
up.
out of it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you're turning up a little bit more like I don't even know. Groovier? It's not
Yeah.
groovier because like Jane grooves, but in a
Yeah.
like I don't know. But definitely a cool down. with some
Hmm.
groove still.
Yeah. All right. We want to get to Jack's
Yeah,
tracks.
let's jack track it up.
Also, I guess they're gonna get some inside baseball on the podcast. I
Oh.
was thinking of starting a song of the week on
Oh
our
yeah, like just on
Instagram.
the Instagram or
Yeah, yeah.
what do you
It's like
like we just post what a song on the Instagram? Like
yeah, we both be like these are our song. Like we both put like a song we're interested in each
yeah,
week.
I'm totally down. I'm always
Because I want
like
to like there's a lot of songs that like especially songs that I don't end up showing you
mhm.
because you've heard them already that
Yeah.
I want people to hear about. So I was thinking
No,
of doing that.
yeah, you want to just do that on the story and like we pick a
Yeah.
day and then we both just like post separately like on the story like, "Hey, this is my
Yeah.
song of the week." And then you go, "Hey,
Hmm.
this is my song of the week." Yeah, I think that's a good
Yeah.
idea.
All right. Cool.
Put that
Check that out.
ah
All right. What is your track? I will share my
uh
screen.
my track I've been split among a bunch of things. But I'm just gonna go with the song I listened to last before I hopped on the show, which is called "Love Is Overtaking Me" by Arthur Russell. I found this song I think from something silly. I think it was like an Adrian Linker post on Instagram where she had this song, and I knew about
It looks
Arthur
very
Russell before that. Yeah, it's that one.
it looks
Arthur
very
Russell is a
Adrian Lecter
super
core.
super cool artist that I want to get more into. He's a gay artist from the '80s who made a lot of really sick nasty electronic music, and not sick nasty electronic music in like a genre removery kind of way, but in like experimenting with like the way you can mesh these things together. He has one of my favorite tracks of his is called Instrumentals Volume 1, Part 1 or something like that. But he's a really cool guy who a lot of his stuff was not appreciated in his time. It's been dug up more recently, but he's a brilliant composer, and this is a cool track, but it's a more acousticy, folky ballad. So yeah.
Sick. All right. Boom. Whoa. That was I already forgot the name of the song. Love Was Overtaking Me
By Arthur Russell, yeah.
by Arthur Russell. That's really pleasant.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really like the vocals. I like the way he like double tracks them.
Mm-hmm. He's got
Kind
a
of like
beautiful voice.
also there's that really weird drum switch in it that's
Yeah.
like gives like such a cool groove.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's such a like talented musician. Like he's a
Mhm.
classical composer, and this is
Yeah,
just
so
such
he's
a
a
stripped
classically trained.
down.
Oh, I
Yeah,
was reading his little bio. He said it's a classically trained cellist.
yeah, yeah. And this is just like you can hear all that like influence coming in there, but this is just such a stripped down version of all his talent, like lyrically
Mhm.
and musically, because it's just like kind of an acoustic sound, and it's really beautiful. I'm such a sucker for a really stripped down sound like that,
Yeah,
and it also is really ahead of its time in a lot of ways. I don't know exactly
yeah.
when that came out. I know when he was working in the '80s, but it really like really could sound like something out of like the freak folk era in like the 2000s,
Hmm.
and it feels really ahead of its time looking back.
I see
And
why Adrian Lanker is like listening to that.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like that makes complete sense.
Yeah. All right. You ready
Yeah,
for?
let's freaking whip it, dude.
All right.
Quack, quack.
All right.
Kawasaki.
Kawasaki. Why?
Oh yeah.
Um, this is this is Kawasaki by Khalil, spelled with an exclamation point.
Ooh.
Um, Khalil is a artist from Milwaukee, so um, just wanted to definitely want to show some love to Khalil. Um, and I don't know, I've been listening to his music for a bit now. He's really cool. I met him the other day because he came into my work, and I was like, "Yo, I love your
Yo,
music, man." And he was
you made
like,
him
"That's sick."
you made Khalil a
Yeah, I made him a
smoothie?
smoothie.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
What was his
he's
order?
super nice. Huh?
What was his order?
I
Did he have
forget
a
what
good
he
order?
got. It was yeah, he definitely had a good order.
Okay,
Um, but I don't know. We'll probably shout him out. So if he's watching this, Like I made your smoothie and you're cool and I want to shout out the music. Um,
Yeah, we'll at
we
him. Also, we've
yeah,
got a
I love
really good. Sorry, you're streaming your screen. And it's getting this infinite loop of us,
I
which is
know.
really exciting to me.
So I want to put on more Milwaukee artists. I know he produces everything by himself.
Hmm.
So I think so he's self-produced and yeah, this Kawasaki by Khalil.
Hell yeah, let's give it a spin.
Come on.
Come on.
Ooh,
Heck yeah.
boom.
That was Kawasaki by fuck shit by
Khalil.
by Khalil. Sorry, Khalil.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. You
Yeah.
told me beforehand that I probably wasn't gonna like it because his voice is too good, and his voice
Yeah.
is really good. I fucked with that a lot more than I thought I was going to though. I really
Yeah,
like
he does a
the
lot with the vocal effects. So,
yeah, yeah, and he's got I like the lyrics. I like the line "Have mercy on me, God, I'm way too up." That's just fun.
mhm. Yeah.
Um, and I like the whole flow. It's a really patient song. I like the way it just kind of lets
Mhm.
itself develop, and I like that the groove kind of hits in weird spots a lot of the time. I like that it kind of
Mhm.
just kind of sits and let itself develop. It's a cool song, especially if you're into
Yeah.
that new R&B sound. This is gonna be
Mhm.
like way way up your alley. This is a good version of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, check this out.
Mm-hmm.
Khalil Kawasaki.
Hell
Also,
yeah.
since I'm sharing my screen right now,
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
found this I was playing GeoGuessr the other day. It's
Ooh.
completely off topic, but I want the people to see this. I took a screenshot because I found I, I like spawned in and this is the street I landed on.
You land on the Karl Marx Street?
I landed on Carl. You'll never guess what country this is in.
Um, I mean, surely it's not as easy as Germany.
No, it's in India.
The
So
revolution is coming, brothers.
yeah.
Stand strong.
So shout out to all the people that live on Karl Marx Street in
Yeah, and
India.
shout out to
I
the
think it's in
Marxist
India.
revolution coming to an India near you.
Yeah. So I just had that screenshot and I saved that one because I wanted to show the people.
Dude, you're on your Jane remover type shit.
Yeah.
It's gonna be your next album cover.
Mm.
Mm. Anything,
Uh,
what's going on in your world? Anything you want to share with the people at home?
Not really.
Mm-hmm.
New music from me and some other people that I'm working with
Yep.
very soon.
Check out
So that will be fun.
JDHD
Yeah. Coming to a theater near you.
coming to a theater near you.
Um, but other than that, I've just been hanging out. I start my summer classes soon, so
Hell yeah.
we're going. You got tickets to Blade too, so we're gonna
Oh
see
yeah, we're
Blade.
we're headed to Blade. It's gonna be a Drain Gang kind of fall, which is very
Yeah.
exciting. Down.
So other
All
than
all the
that,
pals are going. Yeah.
that's about it.
Other than that, I have work in about 7 hours or something like that. Um,
All right.
because I got to deal with I'm a substitute teacher in the Newport News public school system, and I got to sub for a fucking seventh grade math class that I just subbed for today, and they fucking suck. I'm so I'm so not looking forward to it.
I don't have to work till 11, so
Fuck you, dude. I dude, I forgot. Like I signed up for this sub job and I like forgot you had to wake up at like school starts at like 7:50, which
yeah.
is like not unreasonable. That's like completely like it's just the fact that I have like a stupid brain. But like now I'm just tired all the time.
Yep.
Yep. And the
All
kids
right.
are like asking me if I was alive for 9/11.
You should. Do you tell him yes?
No, I was like not even thinking because I was just not expecting it. This is also like in the same like so this kid like asked like in my last period asked me like she was like, "Hey, are you gay?" And I was like, "No." And then she was like, "Oh, but you have like your nails are painted." And I was like, "Yeah, no, no." And I was like, "Okay." And she's like, "Hey, were you alive for 9/11?" And so I was just I was just so thrown off. I didn't even know how to respond. Because
Yeah.
I wish I had done bits with this 13-year-old about 9/11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alas.
Alas, I really missed out on an opportunity when I was subbing for this class to do
Yeah.
bits
To
about
do a
9/11.
stupid joke.
This was the second time 9/11 came up in my seventh grade math shift because
Cool.
apparently the kids like coming into my second period had like been learning about 9/11 in history class. So this kid like bounced into my class and was like, "Hey, you're the sub, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Hey, we just learned about 9/11." I was like, "Sick. What is that?" And this kid just explains 9/11 to me, and I was like, "That's so cool." It was It was awesome. He also had like a worksheet for it, and like he was just
Yeah, I did see the worksheet.
yeah. And it's just so funny to like see a worksheet saying like what like brought down the tower, and it just says like jet
Jeff,
fuel. It's just like because I
idiot.
don't like.
He doesn't know.
Did you learn about 9/11 in school?
Yeah, we watched a
Really?
documentary.
Really?
Yeah, we watched.
Dude, we didn't even make it to like the Vietnam War. We stopped after like World War II.
They got your ass in Normandy.
They got my ass in the end of
You didn't
history.
even you didn't even make it to see Vietnam.
Fuck, they left me on the beaches of Dunkirk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's all I've
that's
got.
all that's all I got. Have a
Yeah.
nice day. Go listen to Jane Remover
Yeah. And Janet Jackson.
and
Do it
Janet
all.
Jackson. Do it all. Go live your best life. Go live your truth
And I think with that we are two dope boys
on a porch
on a theoretical porch on a
in the
podcast.
abstract.
Yeah. Signing off.